So creatively, you guys know I like to experiment and try different things. Coming back with a video so soon is definitely a experiment. Yesterday, which was April 13th, Archetyp Market experienced a DDoS attack, which is basically reported by Yoshi or BigBoss or, who's the site owner, whatever you want to call him, we can call him that. Use whatever title you want. The attack disrupted access to the market, which then prompted the team to actually implement mitigation measures and plan changes to their actual CAPTCHA system within 24 hours of that attack to try and increase their resilience to it. This was posted on Dread by Yoshi, and after that they took to Dread to actually update people about it. Now, DDoS attacks just suck, just speaking generally here, I'll give them this. They're surprisingly stable in terms of uptime and fighting off adversarial attacks. They usually handle their business in that kind of realm fairly well in comparison to other markets. It's also good to see them informing the actual community as things progress and unfold in real time. Now, after the update, Yoshi jumped into threads and basically started replying to a ton of different users about a ton of different things. Some saying that the market was glitching and others just straight up claiming that it was compromised. That last part was FUD. It was kicked off by some baby bottle account on Dread. And I know, FUD on Dread, but there's a first time for everything, right? So people in another thread were talking about tonal shifts and matching speech patterns and linguistical analysis basically is what they were talking about. And for a second, I, thought about actually combing through his posts to analyze it. And this is the kind of stuff I ended up get lost on sometimes when I'm looking at making a video. But then I, saw him 22 hours ago calling people retarded and delusional. And that pretty much confirmed for me, it was the same guy. I'm not joking with that either when I say that. It absolutely confirmed it for me that he was the same guy. Now, at the end of the day, we don't know that for sure. No one does. And, that's kind of the point. You should always operate in the kind of worst case scenario mode when it comes to darknet markets. Hope for the best and prepare for the worst. And that mindset will absolutely save you in a lot of scenarios. Being unsure kind of instinctually incentivizes caution, I would say, which is a really good play in a landscape that's as hostile as the darknet. So currently it's 11 a.m. and, on April 14th, and looking at the status of the mirrors I have on my site, which is darkwebdaily.live, the vast majority of them are actually up. So obviously this doesn't include things like private mirrors, but based on what I'm seeing, they're holding up pretty well. They tend to be holding the line, if you will. If the attack is still ongoing, it's definitely not breaking them right now, which is great news. Obviously, either the attacker gave up or the market is doing well at, mitigating. Whatever mitigations they put in worked if they are still attacking. But, now for some context, basically Yoshi and I have had our issues in the past, and for good reason. If you've been a subscriber on this channel, you're probably well aware of it. But one thing I will give him is that he cares about his market. Really, if nothing else besides himself, he definitely cares about his market. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I genuinely hope that whenever he does check out, that he decides to leave gracefully. He once told me that he planned on sticking around for about 3 years, and I'll have to dig through my archives to see if I can find it. But, I'm not sure how long ago that actually was. Now, I'm assuming that clock actually started back when we were talking. And this was essentially during a time when I was working on a video that I was making, and it was a market analysis of the market, of Archetype, which I later took down after he started just spreading FUD, basically, that couldn't be proven in relation to that video. which is why I took it down. You won't find it on my channel. I have other market videos that I've recorded throughout time, which I just haven't had time to edit, comb through, and put up. And throughout those videos, a lot of the times I do actually message the admin. And in this case, I had asked for an interview. To his credit, and as somewhat of an anomaly to me, he kind of politely declined. And I was referencing the politeness just then, not the declining. That's also when he mentioned the whole 3-year timeline thing. And in my opinion, leaving gracefully would absolutely cement the market forever in Darknet history as one of the greats. I think, a big way you're judged is how you go out in that realm, right? So that's the route I really, really hope that they take whenever he decides to retire or leave or whatever. But nobody knows when that's going to happen, right? Like, nobody actually knows the answer to that. Only the actual admins know that. So, building numbers is cool as a darknet market, but I think one of the biggest factors really is the exit. In any case, I don't think it's a different dude. Personal nonsense put aside, I am glad to see that the market is still operational and that they're combating, these adversaries, whoever they are. Sometimes a good long life is the best way to give your adversaries the middle finger, which in this case, specifically for darknet market admins, is going to be, law enforcement is going to be that adversary, and being able to survive for a prolonged period of time and not be miserable is a great way to be. Many markets have died. Long live the markets. And the reference is like with the king, right? They say, the king is dead, long live the king, because it always continues. At the end of the day, when one king dies, another one's just going to come in and replace him anyway. It's kind of how it is. But I was glad to see that they mitigated the attack. I'm glad to see that the market's up. I'm glad to see that we can verify that. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.